We are live. Welcome back. It is season 2 for us. Season 2. Retro Talk Forum here. Black Ass African. My guy over
Hot
there.
Dog 18.
My guy
Hot
down
Dog
there.
18.
Cali Vegas.
we
Back in the
back.
building. Back in the building.
Yes,
Welcome.
yes.
Welcome.
we didn't
Man, we felt like we couldn't open this new season up any other way, man, to have you back on, bro.
Hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It went so fast. The first season over already. Season 2.
It did,
wow.
man.
Yeah.
It did, really.
Good.
Basically, we've been kind of doing a lot of things these last 2 weeks, man. You know, things been popping off. But first and foremost, we want to get into our sponsor. We are still in partnership with Lift Heavy Clothing. You can see he made the Retro Talk Forum shirts, and you can see that way. Hold on, that way. The Lift Heavy, man, is this twisted angle, man. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Oh man, but yes, y'all go shout out Mr. Beard Jedi, aka liftheavyclothing.com, for all your apparel needs, especially when you're working out, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about top quality material. Craftsmanship is on point as far as t-shirt goes. The shipping is like when you make your order, boom, it's there. You ain't got to worry about nothing, and it's packaged nicely. And he might throw a little something extra in there for you. So if you go ahead to liftheavyclothing.com, that's LFTHVY.com, use our promo code Retro Talk as you see it down at the bottom, and save you some coins on whatever you pick up. With that being said, we're gonna move on to who's in the chat. Let's see who's in the chat. Anybody in the chat right now? Let's see. We got Mr. Bear 76 in the chat. What's going on, bro? Appreciate you for stopping through. We got a newbie. Let's see.
I think that's House Flair, man.
It is
I think it's
Australia. Right,
Oh, is
right.
it? Okay.
Australia.
Salute to you, man. Appreciate you for pulling up.
Welcome, bro. Appreciate you rocking with us.
He told me it was Labor Day where he's at. That's why he got the day off, so he's able to look at us.
Oh, that's what's up, man. Enjoy your day off, man. Enjoy your day off.
They're 5 hours ahead, no? Are they ahead of us? 5 hours, 6 hours?
I think he said it was going to be like 10:45 his time or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, the Kingpin, OG Snickers.
Yeah, we got OG Snickers in here.
OG triple OG.
The king of pickups.
OG getting early pairs, early pairs and stuff, man. You know, it may have been 20 minutes early, but it's still early. You know what I mean?
We can't touch him right now, man. You know. So, what you got hopping hip hop history?
Okay.
Oh, you will just go to the history portion of this show. How about that?
Yeah. We got two things that happened today. Well, actually three. Pretty sure a lot of you guys know who Slum Village is. I think his name is Batten, but he was born today, 1974. Also, we got Gangstar. They released the album today in 1994, Hard to Earn. That was a pretty dope album. Had Mass Appeal on there. DeWitt with Nice and Smooth. I left my Philly at home. Do you have another?
I want to get blunted, my brother.
Exactly. And probably one of the would you consider this one of the best movies? It's a classic movie, I'll tell you that. Classic movie. New Jack City was released today in 1991.
Okay.
So yeah, Nino Brown and the classic Pookie. Just be calling me, man. You know?
Not when you say
they took Pookie and put him on the shirt with holding the Jordan 11.
Now, when you say like classic like movies, to me that's like a classic hood movie because you got a lot of the classic hood movies that came out around that time. You probably got just say top 5. You probably got at least 4 of them that came around that time frame. Mm-hmm. And New Jack City was definitely one of them. I remember, being in the movies, and once people got outside, they just started shooting.
Wow.
No shit. They just started shooting for no reason. I guess life imitates movie, or movie imitates life. How that sound?
Yeah.
But that's how it was, man. So
I think one of the crazy twists in that movie was that, Ice-T was a gangster hardcore rapper, but he played a cop in that movie.
Yeah.
So, that was
he ain't
a lot
turned
of
his back
people.
yet.
Yeah.
He's still playing the cop.
Right. Well, he's still playing Ice-T, playing some, because in everything I see him in, I'm always like, he's Ice-T. I love Ice-T, but there's really no stretch in terms of his acting ability. He's Ice-T in every single thing I've seen him in. Like, okay. Like where Will Smith was Muhammad Ali, he can give you that stretch.
Right.
Ice-T can give you Ice-T. Cop, bad guy, he's Ice-T.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to BX in the chat, and shout out to Throwback King, Fat Boy Snacks. He pulled up in the chat. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we got 12 in the chat.
Oh, I know him.
Far,
I didn't know who that was. All right, I know. I didn't know him by that name, but I absolutely know him because I follow his page.
Yeah, that's it. That's
what we got 12 in the chat. So whoever's not typing, appreciate you guys rocking with us, man. Appreciate you guys rocking with us. GC Real just popped up, man. Appreciate you rocking with us, bro. Welcome.
You Wrench team, Throwback. You Wrench team. But so anything else besides anything else in here?
That was all for today. But let's see. On March the 5th, 1991, Ed O.G. and the Bulldogs released their album, Life of a Kid in the Ghetto. That they had a couple of my favorite tracks on there, Be a Father, Teach Child. Yeah. I Got to Have It. That was a dope track.
Then they had a song, Bugaboo.
The original Bugaboo.
Yeah, the original Bugaboo. Yeah,
the original Bugaboo. Yeah. And on March the 5th, Bump Stickity, Bump.
Das Effects.
Das Effects. Yeah, they want effect. They released that single on March the 5th in 1992. And Grand Puba, he was born March 4th, 1966.
Oh, he's old.
And on March 3rd, De La Soul released 3 Feet High and Rising on March 3rd, 1989.
I love that album right there.
Yeah, no doubt.
I love that album.
Yeah, that's pretty much it right there.
Okay. D post actually, so shout out to D.
I was gonna say shout out to support. D. Oh yeah. So what did you guys have on feet today?
We'll let the guests go first, man. What you rocking? What you rocking today?
Well, I had the match, right? I'm such an apparel matching, but I had the
coordinate. You got the coordinate.
Yeah, the Packer, the pizzazz, Mike Packer, who I think in terms of retro probably gets about the closest I can say from this era, the golden era. I mean, he gets very close to the OG, and if you ever get a chance to talk with him, you'll know why. That's really his era where he came up, and you can talk shoes for days about that. But I got to wear that today. I've been in LS. I almost said Elise, LS, like for the entire week. So
I still say it, man.
LS.
I still say it.
In my head, even when I say it, I'm thinking Elise, but it's LS for certain.
Right. I like that shirt, man. That's a dope shirt you got.
It is.
Oh, yeah. You represent hard. Shout out to Cadillac Jackson in the chat. Appreciate you pulling up, man.
Smoking Bell, La Flower.
Hey, we got 2 bells in here now. We got 2 bells now. What you had?
Man, I know I switched it up. I got the Griffey jersey on today, but earlier I had these on. I had the medicine ball joints on. The retro, man. This leather is butter on here, man. It's amazing. It's like butter.
Yeah. Quick strike, or is that the 2013?
This the QS, baby. This the QS, and the reason why you know because it's got the cloth inside. The other ones had the leather inside, I believe. But yeah, man, if I could, I would love to double up on these. Yeah, the leather is like butter, baby. So that's what I had on today.
That's dope right there, man. That is dope. Well, I had on today. If y'all know, I love vintage hot top sneakers. It doesn't get any hot top than this. So if you saw my IG, you already know what I had. But if you didn't, I had these right here.
I saw that. Yeah.
These right here.
Yeah.
Wow.
These right here.
Wow.
With the shin guard, there's the tongue.
Man, You know what? This thing is high. When I say high, it's higher than my my air pressures, bro. These are taller than my air pressures. These are the Converse.
Really? They that tall?
Yes. Tongue wise, anyway. These are Converse Cons ERX 260. Got these. This is going to be straight into pickups, but we'll see what the chat got first before we go into pickups. But this is one of my pickups that I had this week. Picked this up for $100 shipped. You see, that's the only thing I don't like about it. It doesn't have that natural blue and white texture on the bottom of it to give it that real energy wave. But all in all, I'm still satisfied with the shoe, man. And it's dope and it's comfortable. It's surprisingly comfortable. So that's what I had on today. Let's go in the chat and see what they had on.
The chat, Throwback King, he had on the Barry Sanders, Nike Air Zoom. Caddy had on the threes, the Shy threes. I saw that. I think, let me see how I can put this. A lot of people thought that was going to be limited, but they ended up releasing that on sneakers. So I think a lot of people was happy about that, them coming out with that one. Mr. Bear had on the Puma RSX toys.
Oh, yeah.
Smokey Bear chilling in Tech Foams and OG sneakers with the Concord 11s on, going classic there. I see. I see.
Now, is that the 2011 or is that the one with the 45 on the back?
Well, you know, OG waits like 4 years to wear his shoes. It's probably the older one, and they probably was unds. It probably was unds today.
Probably right. Probably right.
You man from Australia with the Aero Jams, with the Converse Aero Jams.
Okay,
that's hot split, right?
Okay.
That's tight.
Grandma's. Okay, that's what's up. Good call out there, Callie.
Yeah, he said it was the 2011.
Okay.
He said 2011. So now that goes into our pickups. So we'll go back with the guest once again.
Okay. I got the high and the low. So and Jack Lar, which I may or may not be even pronouncing it correctly, but this is Willie Escobar. And this again, if you're Baltimore, DC, that area, then you're very familiar with the shoe. Back there was a powerhouse high school before USA started ranking high schools that had Muggsy, had Reggie Williams of Georgetown fame. It had a lot of cats there. So Baltimore, DC area, even though the accent belies that, I'm from Southeast Washington, DC. So this was a heavy shoe for us. But I love the retro version to this. Normally, I don't really do a lot of high tops. Right. 53, the only ankles I break are my own, so I don't put on a lot of high tops. But these I really like, man. I think he really did a bang-up job. I just saw on their timeline they're going to start releasing their second wave of them, but this pair I love. This is a classic for me.
You know what they look like? The logo on the side? It looks
like Puma.
Yeah, exactly. People used to say the upside down Puma, I think, at one time. So, yeah, but, there was so much diversity. When you think 81, 82, there was so many brands. Like, even now, I think I counted the other day, I had 81 brands of sneakers. So, it was there's some similarities in a lot of different logos. But this shoe, again, I know it was very popular through that. I think they were out of Massachusetts, though, where they start creating them first. But this one... As a matter of fact, when I brought my first pair, my OG pair, I got a free basketball. That's how, they used to give you promos or give things away. So I think they were like $34, $34.99, and they gave you a basketball. Give us a little
360. Give us a little 360.
Okay, sure.
I want to see like the back. Hold the back. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's the back.
I kind of like that, man. That's pretty dope.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he has the little running through here. And, again, I like the high.
The high top is pretty. I like that.
Yeah, so
what kind of material is that red?
It's like a suede. I mean, it's not the plush suede, more maybe the Fox.
Like a new buck?
Yeah, more like that.
I got you.
But I mean, honestly, it really, I was surprised. I think it's one of the times it tops. I had the OG. I like this pair better. I really
I like
do.
The look of it, man. It's
red.
like a sleek, like a
it looks plush.
Yeah, it's the Intimidator for that. I don't know if I made mention to that, but this was their Intimidator model. And again, this was really grew to fame in that area because of I think it was Dunbar High School, like a powerhouse. When you think about Muggsy Bogues, Reggie Williams, they had a lot of cats who went on to college fame and NBA fame as well. But now there are a lot of super high school teams. But back then, you really didn't see a whole lot of the likes of them. But once they got on the court, they were going to Harlem Globetrotter you.
Okay,
sure.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you got?
Is that the only thing you got?
That's all. You know what? Oh, if I can show you, let me see if I can turn this around real quick for you. And this is in my office, man. I have 700 pairs here from the garage. There's no closet space. I have a whole guest room with nothing but sneakers. If I get another pair, the whole house is going to bust from the seams. So one pair is plenty, I assure you.
Gotcha.
Oh, man. All right, what you got, Hop?
Well, I got one pair that I got in. It's in the shop right now. But I picked these up, which my son got these for me for Christmas, but I had my partner, man, do like a little custom on them. This is I know we've discussed this before, but this is how my rendition of what I thought what the four should have been. And
I saw those on the timeline.
Yeah, that's dope right there.
So this is the one that I had my boy do, and I don't know if you can really see the quality he did on there. Quality of work, the line work. There's no overspray on the, up there. And to me, this is I just like how this looks. I kind of wish they would have made it like a nubuck material, but
that would have been better.
Yeah, no doubt. But I had these done, so I picked these up, and I picked up. These are popping up in skate shops in different spots. I picked up the Spectrum Dunks.
Ooh.
Okay. I haven't seen those.
Yeah. I guess some people say they're the Easter Dunks. It's kind of like a reverse of each shoe.
I was going to say, I like how it's kind of flipping on each shoe.
Yeah. See the shoestrings, the different tongues, and it's got that nice plush suede.
What is that, suede?
Velvet. You know what I mean? So, yeah, bro. I'm really satisfied with these. Some people I've heard some people go back and forth on them. Some people like them, some people don't. And I did pick up these. I found these with the hang tag still attached. The aerosol.
Okay, then. Yes, sir.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I found these still with the hang tag attached. They was DS until I rocked them. So.
And see, I wanted that colorway. I had back in the day. I had the red one like that, and I wanted the yellow. It's just something about that yellow.
I see the threes up back there, the AF3s. I love
them. Yeah. I got these from the same guy. That I got those from.
Mr. Bell 76 says, flames. They give you flame emojis. Give you the flame emojis. House Flair said is awesome. With a capital A. Oh, okay. Well, let's go into my pickups right quick. And
we're gonna be here for a minute, Callie. Be ready.
Nah, man. No,
yeah, right.
Don't do me like that, man. Come on now. When I saw this shoe, I said I gotta get it, and for the price, and I know a person that would appreciate this shoe. Is I don't know if y'all can see that.
Of course.
Put it on the big screen.
Oh, I forgot to do it myself. My bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let's see. These are the Fila Targers.
Yeah.
I caught these at, man, if y'all got a local City Trends in your area, stop by there sometime, man. You find hidden gems in there every day, bro. I found Ewans in there before. I seen British Knights in there, which I know Cali Vegas, you ain't on no British Knights. Clown people for the British Knights. But man, when I saw this shoe, man, it's just okay. First of all, what drew me to it was when I saw this tag. I saw that tag, and it was another tag that came with it. I don't know if y'all can read that or see it clearly.
Oh yeah.
It says genuine Italian leather. When I saw this, I was like, okay then. But just the quality on the man is dope. I mean, for it to be $24, these are dope. I had to grab them, no question. Secondly, the first time I saw this shoe, I said, well, I think a lot of people are not gonna like it. I knew what it was, but I think a lot of people just didn't, weren't gonna fall for it. But I was wrong. I was totally wrong. Going to the website, sold out. It was sold out. But I ended up finding me a pair, and it is these babies right here.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Man, the shape on these is unreal.
It looked like that old school shape.
The shape on these is unreal. I seen Ernie Punk do a side-by-side with the OGs and these, the retros. Man, it's hard to tell without the discoloration, but it's hard to tell because the shape is on point. The shape is on point. These are the Eric Emanuel pair because on them, you can see it right there. And 1/1986. That's on all the shoes. I thought maybe it was like a numbered pair type deal, but it's not. It also came with this card. You know,
Black is a sucker for hang tags and extra in shoes.
That's what I grew up on, man. That's what I
right.
And then it came with the poster too.
You got a poster? I would say you got a poster.
Yeah.
You got to put that up, bro. You got to hang that up.
I got to keep it with the shoes, man.
That's the New York skyline.
Yeah, because it was a New York release. It was supposed to be like 1,986 pairs made, and then he had another collaboration with them. It's like a cream colorway. I want to get that one too because the leather on these shits, man. Trust me, when I say this is like soft, supple leather, it don't get no better than this, man. And the comfort, Callie, you know about the comfort on these, man.
Oh yes, I love the retro.
The comfort is there, man. I mean,
see what GTC Real says in the chat.
What he said.
If you can't tell the retro from the original, that means Adidas does retro better than Nike does.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And I think that was my point when I actually put that post up. And I put up a few posts up on some of the Facebook groups I'm in. And people was kind of chiming in, but most of them was just like on that one wave. And I'm like, nah, it's that right there to me is beating ones that they're bringing out today. That's not excluding the 85s that they bringing out, but just like the regular retro OG highs, in my opinion, this does not reflect on Retro Talk Forum.
Well, you know what? I think with that though, and shout out to Amy in North Dakota. But I think with that, I think one of the things too, they bring in the right people. Let's not lose sight of the fact that Ernie Punk. I mean, that cat knows that shoe inside out, outside in. So they listen to the right.
Wasn't he the one that actually gave them a shoe?
Right, and I think they worked alongside him and a couple others. But I mean, when you get those guys, you're going to get a good quality product if you listen.
Exactly. Shout out to Marcus and Keon, the soulmates. Once again from the Retro Talk Forum family.
Yeah, we got 313 in the chat also. Yeah,
congratulations on y'all, babies. Oh, baby, I don't mean to say baby, it's baby. And then that goes into this pair right here. I got the lows.
Okay, then.
I caught these for $24. I couldn't, and that's $24 ship. Wow. No tax, none of that. Like I said, I got these for 100 shipped. And I guess I'll show one more.
I know you're gonna be here for a minute.
How long is your week? How many days do you have in your week? Goodness.
Oh man! But I got these right here. Let's see if I can get up. There we go.
There they go. Oh, okay.
Yeah, these are the Adidas Torsion Comp.
Yeah.
Or
is that a tennis shoe? Like a tennis shoe?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a plain tennis shoe.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like a tennis shoe.
Again, Adidas came through with this one. No knock to Nike, but Adidas came through with this one once again. One thing I did like about it, look how the tongue is. It gives you the shoe size on the tongue.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I like that. I like how they reversed that. The comfort, man, the comfort is there. Once again, they on point with the leather. The shape is there. I mean, Adidas is knocking it out of the park with these right here, man. And I caught this one for $26. $26.
Dang.
Wow.
So I had a Deacon discount type of week. Shout out to Beer Jedi with his hashtag. But I think that's all I got for right now. And anybody else in the chat had anything else? We missing anything, Hop?
Let's see. House Flare. GTC Real said he picked up Spectrum and Shadow Dunks. That's the same one I had. I didn't get the Shadows though. And House Flare or Core Bus Video said he picked up Steph Curry 2.5s for $40 used in 3s dead stock of a divorced woman for $30. All right then. Hey, get it. You got to get it how it is sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's all. Those are the only ones that commented on what they picked up.
No, 313. I wasn't congratulating you. I was congratulating Marcus Keanu on their first child. Let's see.
Bear said he picked up the Tech Time 3s, and Throwback said he picked up the Orange Suede 33 high.
Orange Suede, that's a rare one. I like the 33.
Yeah, it is. It is. I want the blue one though. That blue one's kind of hard to find in my size.
Shout out to Michelle Denham also. She said, great show. I follow Cali Vegas.
Michelle, hey.
You got you a following.
When you've been around this long and you're this old, yeah, people know you. But I do know Michelle. Great person. North Carolina.
I feel you. All right, well, that's it for the pickups. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of the show. We appreciate everybody for checking us out. We got 19 in the chat. Thank you. Once again, if we haven't said it, hit that like button if you like what we're doing. And first off, I got a question. Callie.
Okay.
I asked all the guests that come on our show, even people that don't come on the show, I still ask them, how did you get your name? How did Cali Vegas come about?
That's an interesting one because some days there are days I wish I could give it back, right? Because it's a tag name, so I've done all these neat things, but it's always under this name. So when my family looks for anything, they say, "All right, we don't see Dr. Richardson. It's Cali Vegas." And they say, "Well, who's Cali Vegas?" Exactly. But for me, the name came about. I used to go out to Vegas a lot. I'm a boxing fan, huge boxing fan. So I would travel out to Vegas to see the fights. So there were already so many Mr. Vegas, but people would just say Mr. Vegas in joking because I would always fly out to the different coasts. Kali is really based on a friend of mine, Islamic guy who passed on. Kali means friend. And so I was given that tag name. And so I kind of kept that name and started doing the early writing with. So it just kind of came together as Cali Vegas. But a funny thing now, it's just become so second nature to me. It's for when I travel and for companies, even at last, everything is in Cali Vegas. So I could get lost trying to find who's looking for Frank Richardson. Everybody's just like, Cali, are you Cali Vegas? Yeah, that guy versus that guy. So, but tell me yours. Now, yours I need to hear because I don't know if someone's asked you yours. I want to hear how you got yours. Hot dog, I could probably surmise. Please tell me how you got yours.
You want to go ahead with yours right quick, Hop?
Well, Hop is part of my last name.
Okay.
Dog, just what's up, dog? You know, just casual talk. 18 was my high school number that I had playing baseball.
Okay. All right.
Pretty simple.
Well, I'm gonna keep mine quick and to the point too. All right. I was doing a job down in New Orleans, probably about 2012-ish, working on a hospital down there. And it was a guy from Memphis, Tennessee. He was a black guy. He used to always walk through the halls and, as we working. And when somebody does something wrong, he always say that old black ass African. It's almost like saying the N-word without saying the N-word. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it kind of stuck with me because he said it so much. That was his way of not saying the N-word. So I came to, when I got on IG, the name that I had, it wasn't there. It didn't feel right. So I said, you know what? I need to come up with a name. So I just started thinking. And the first thing I thought about was his name is Jerome Murphy. When he came up with that name, and I started thinking, I was like, that's it, black ass African. Get it. And I had people that didn't see my face. And the first thing they say, your ass better be black when we meet you. So That's how I came up with that name, man. I mean, it's nothing, related to being from Africa or nothing like that. It was it was just a name that that stuck with me. That's all.
I'll tell you this, Kelly. He has people that won't even say the name.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, he got people that don't even. I don't like saying the name, man. They be like, man, I don't know if he's gonna get offended or not.
Too funny. So, shout out to Fila. This is my dude here, man. Fila Fresh. And this is when I talk about companies real quick. I always say that when you have, like with Adidas, we said how they got Ernie. My man lives Fila. Like if you out on his timeline, Fila Fresh 313. Like his whole family is Fila. Like dude has Fila everything, man. And when I talk to brands, I'm like, this is the cat you have to reach out to. Dudes like this keep the community and keep your brands amongst us. You can do well in Europe and other places, but here in America, it's cats like that who have the essence of the brand. Stop looking for these A-list, B-list celebrities who will wear your stuff one day. Get people who really live the lifestyle. But that's a dude who truly, like every time I feel out from head to toe, the whole family. So check them out if you haven't, man.
Shout out to Feel Like Fresh. I'm guessing 313 means Detroit.
The first time I even picked up on that, I was still on mine. That's the first time I picked up on his area code to say he's a Detroit cat. Detroit got a lot of wavy cats, man.
They do, man.
Yeah, Detroit has a lot of cats.
But I thought Detroit was mainly on top 10s.
Well, I think that too, but I think Fila, they got a lot of his, because Ty has done the Fila. Ty Hopkins, he's gotten the Fila. Guy out there, TikTok, 1973. Funny, I know tag names, not real names, but that dude through Frank Allen, who now he's got the little, they're so tight. He's got the little hats and the little, because they wore the hats in the top 10s.
Right.
The movement escapes me, but he has the little things you can put around your top 10s, But shout out to them, man. They keep a lot of things. That's amazing how some models and some brands go other areas, and I'm just finding out history. But TikTok, Ty, Feel Out Fresh, a lot of them have put me up on, history to that area. So shout out to them.
Well, it's funny you say something about just the brands and getting the right people. It's like, Troop came out and they brought out stuff, but their quality and their craftsmanship is not there. I mean, silhouette wise is good, nostalgia is good, but it's just the point of having the dope quality that they had back in the late 80s.
Right.
So why wouldn't they go back and get a guy like OG Rawls that stays over, across the water?
Right.
Because he has
got like the whole Lord, he has the whole.
Yes, he has. He
got a whole. Yeah. He has some incredible pieces, man.
So I'm like, why they can't just bring him in?
Yeah, I don't understand why they wouldn't, but companies are weird like that.
Right, I know, right? So let's get into your collaboration or your creation, we say. I don't know,
Well, you know what? It's a friends and family collaboration, but in reality, I hope it's soon to be a bigger general release, and those conversations will take place as early as Wednesday. But it's a funny thing. And shout out to everybody with the LS Design Council. If you had an opportunity, there's like King of Trainers, Kiss Cash, Sneaker Queen, all these people that got together, Sneaker Freaker Magazine, High Snobriety, and we all had an opportunity to come out to London for this workshop, and you got to create a shoe. But before I get into that shoe, I want to talk about the history of the first shoe, if I can. I think I spoke about it before, but I'm going to talk about the first shoe because I think it's important, because I think even when we tell the narration, that a lot of times it's missed, that tennis was like the big draw for us. Like, again, I came up, this is Sadler. So this is his tanker, Mark Sadler. And this is where really the Design Council, we got a chance to reimagine this shoe. But this is the OG.
I was going to say, is that the OG? Because they came out with slide out boxes back then?
Yeah, no, it's in a different box. No, I think the slide out is the Packer box. So no, don't be fooled by the box, my friend. But this is the OG, and what made it amazing when you look at it is the different materials. And Mark Sadler, I've told the story before, but it's worth telling again. He was an industrial designer, so he wasn't a sneaker guy by trade. And what happened? He had a skiing accident in the 70s, broke his ankle.
Right.
Then he wanted to create something for ski boots. And what makes him such an enigma, and he created that. He started working with Lotto and then over to Les. And then a couple years, he got to design a couple tennis shoes, the Tanker. He did the Mochiks. and he helped out, and he was one of the first to use. See how this big embroidering of the name?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you think of, because think about this is 82. Trust me, as a guy who's 53, there was no shoe around, a cross-functional shoe, because look at the bottoms.
Yeah, it's very rigid.
Right, there was no shoe. So even I look now because they retro, and when I see cats saying, "Oh, it's like the Adidas Power Phase," or it's like Reebok Phase One, get out of here. This is first. So those shoes are like that. This is first. So, and what was amazing about this guy, and continues to be amazing, he went away and then started developing from scooters to orthopedic legs to furniture. But he's mastered his craft in every field. He's top designer for a couple of years. And it seems like, I don't know, maybe he gets bored. I've never seen an interview with him, but he moves on and has success in areas where you would think that's a little surprising, especially somebody who comes in, you think he could just ride the tennis shoe wave for years. But I guess that wasn't his thing. So that being said, this is the original. So, they contacted us at LS, which I was calling Elise. When they contacted me the first time, it was so funny. I kept talking to the guy, shout out to Jonathan and everybody over at LS. And he kept saying, he kept correcting me, saying, "Oh, it's LS." I said, "Well, I don't know that company." It's like, "You wear our stuff all the time." And I said, "Oh, okay." But so this is the design Counsel. This is my first unboxing of this, by the way. But they spared no expense. Because when we first sat down to do it, let me talk a little bit about this shoe. They set us down in the room and they gave us all the material, right? And they said, design a shoe. You can do anything with it. Have fun with it. They gave, a whole option. So Simon, who's the CEO there, I talked at that time. I said, "Hey, is it possible if I can take this back home, the idea, give it a week or two, because I want to tell a story?" And he said, all right, no problem. So I contacted, I have a company that I co-founded with a guy, Will Cooper, Soul on Canvas. So maybe listening today, he didn't drop in if he is, but he's amazing, like an amazing artist. He does custom work, a lot of stuff. So he and I got to talk, and he's a younger guy, but just like me, that golden era, right? I consider the 80s the golden era. And again, Sadler's shoe and a lot of those styles were really predominant before 87, 88, the rap boom. When that stuff came, then a lot more people were familiar with Fila and other brands, because now it's more worldwide. Right. But those of us I wanted to be a tennis player at one time. So, Yannick Noah, Vilas, and when we would get to see them and see the apparel, we would try to go find the matches for it.
Right.
So, all right, that said, so they brought 8 of us over, and he said, okay, he'd give me a week, and I got with, my partner, and we said, let's come up with something that kind of fits the story and something that, goes with the shoe. So even the box, I think they spared no expense. I love it. So
that's what I want to look at.
The box.
So hold on, is this your first time opening this shoe up?
This is my first time in terms of unboxing, but I wore it. I put it on today.
Yeah,
I put it on, but
it's dope, bro.
Yeah, but see the box, like inside the box, you see they have us in the highlighted, but they have the other people as well. Like you see something in there from the Sneaker Queen, then you see my man King of Trainers, the 1995. If you haven't got the look at his story, you should. His story is amazing. His name is Franklin. He's over in London, and he named his shoe Decade, and it was Boris Becker, and who won the trophy 85, then lost again in 95. But that was really the catalyst for him designing that shoe. For me too, I was a Vilas fan, but Becker was, Becker had swag as a young guy when he won Wimbledon, and whoever he was outfitted with, he was with LS and had some of the more amazing things. Like I think this is Vilas, the jacket behind me, but Becker has some pretty neat stuff too.
Before you show the shoe,
sure.
I don't mean to interrupt you. Before you show the shoe, so LS, Elise, LS, tomato.
No, they're not going to go tomato. LS, because it's behind the owner, who is Leonardo. Let me see, his name is up here, Silveradia. I think, but it's the owner's initials, LS. Right. So,
So that box,
yes,
the box inside the box, is that box going to be for retail, or is that box just like for
This was a friends and family, and what happened, and let me speak on that for a few minutes. And again, I have a conversation coming this week with them. I think, like I said, the guy, King of Trainers, Franklin, his response was so overwhelming when he showed his shoe and told his story. Because I talk to a lot of these brands all the time, and I tell them representation matters. Sometimes representation matters, you know, and to keep recycling and do the same thing every year. If you were born, I gave you this, we talked last time, mathematically. If you were born January 1st, 1980, so January 1st, 1990, you're 10 years old. The 80s really are you don't remember that. And that's not a problem with that. Sometimes it's time. So when you keep going for target markets that are 19, 20-year-olds, no knock to them, but what do they know about that? They don't care about that era per se. No. But sometimes representation matters. So this guy, I mean, his story was so heartfelt. If you got a chance to watch it, because his mom started buying him trainers as a youth, and he got the name King of Trainers. And I mean, he's a real humble guy. King of Trainer, you might think, he's a jerk. He's a real humble guy. I met him and got to talk to him. And I just think that, you know, maybe that opened them up to the mindset that maybe the community would get behind, if you want to quote unquote say regular people who get an opportunity to create something. Maybe they would have a following that, because sometimes in this world, I think now they're too analytics driven. Like if a person has 80,000 followers, that doesn't mean you're going to sell 80,000 units to them. That's not dollars. Exactly. It doesn't matter with that. So those who are more authentic have a smaller, I have like maybe 4,500 followers, but that doesn't, they're authentic people in a sense. I didn't pay for likes and followers. So a lot of them are the same golden era, like-minded people. That's right. The DC flag inside the box. Correct. DC Tanker is the shoe, because although my accent is heavy, Brooklyn or Boston, Massachusetts, Southeast DC is where, you know, I came up and started playing on the courts. But so a lot of these brands don't understand that authenticity is the way you walk back in to this heritage line, not with 19 and 35-year-olds who are K-pop or they dance. I don't care. Not to celebrities. I'm 53. I don't care what celebrity you have in it, but if it has quality and style. So even before, you know, as I get ready to get to the shoe, that was my big concern with them. I said, look, I don't want to do it unless you can promise me premium material. If I can use premium stuff, then I'll do it. If not, it's just a waste of time.
Yeah, it's a waste of time, yeah.
Right. And they were like, no, we're going to do the premium. So then I contacted my partner and we sat down and talked about, you know, what we would like in a shoe, to reimagine a shoe, because the Tanker is iconic, right? So let me make sure I have that in the room. So the Tanker is iconic. So then we had an opportunity to create one, and I'll tell the story as I show the shoe. And again, Bitstonian is the company that he and I had together. But, you know, this is the shoe. This is where we came and where we had an opportunity. And first you'll see that that's a longer green suede. That's the real suede. And that's what we wanted, because coming up as a youth, that really was a huge thing for us. You know, like we had to play on a lot of public courts first. You couldn't really, it was still, even though it was a segregation era, your black ass wasn't welcome on private courts or community clubs. So you were going to take yourself down to, you know, the public courts. And what was good about that, that's why I said with the first one, it had to be functional. That bottom had to be a functional bottom, which you see is still in place. We went with the gum sole, but that made the big difference for the shoe. Yeah, we thought the gum sole would really bring that out, but the green suede makes it pop.
Yeah, with the blue accents. Yeah, that's dope, bro. That's fire, bro.
And we went with that.
You killed that. You killed that, bro.
and again, shout out to my man who should be on here, but he's not yet, or he's hiding. But I mean, he to me is a beyond talent dude. So, like, even with the tongue itself, if you can see the tongue, the tennis nets. They come up through the tongue,
I didn't notice that. That's
yeah, because it's a tennis shoe, and that's a lot of times back then. It was from an era where you had, you know, the shoe that your mom probably brought you or you got to buy. You're gonna use it for that performance, right? Whatever that shoe intention was. A tennis shoe, I try to play some tennis because we spend all the time outside. We didn't have Call of Duty 4, 5, 6, 20,000, whatever number it is. We had to go outside. So basically, if you want to be outside all day, we were going to dabble at everything sports related. Street hockey, tennis, football, basketball. You wasn't going to get a pair of shoes for each one of those things you dabbled in.
You need a rugged shoe to handle everything.
Right. You're going to get one pair of good shoes that you really couldn't wear. Then you was going to get a shoe that was going to be your beater. So the cross functionality helps. So we really looked at that. And again, on the heel, if you can see the metallic, let me see.
Yeah, the metallic heel tab.
Yeah, the metallic heel, and up close, it's not really. I got the wrong lighting here, but
is it like embossed or in like an indentation?
It is, and that's the DC logo. It's to the back of that. You know, the DC logo. And again, we took the LS and put in different color, but the metallic we thought in gold in regards to championship cups, championship trophies. That would be the gold. You see there's some gold also.
A lace tip.
On the lace tip, right. And so, you know, with the shoe, we really wanted to just reimagine what would that look like. We kind of moved away from the big emboss on the side and went for a smaller. But I thought, you know, and to his point, the green is really an underused colorway in terms of tennis shoes. When you're looking at this color green, especially in the suede offering. So, you know, we thought.
I don't know if this had anything to do with it, but when you say tennis shoe and I saw the green, I immediately thought of maybe a grass turf.
There you go. That's exactly what we thought about, because now a lot of turfs are blue in essence, right? You know, artificial turf. So you caught that, and that's exactly what we thought in terms of doing it, to take it back to that, but still move it forward aesthetically to fit the now. So the story is an old story in regards to history, but we wanted the shoe to really have the look of the now. And I thought, you know, they captured it well, and shout out to, again, Alash, John, Ozzy, Jonathan, Simon, Lucy, because, you know, they promised it. It turned out better than I thought it was. Let me say that. You know,
I'm gonna be honest.
Let
me be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Sure.
I'm not really a fan of other style shoes.
Right.
But this shoe right here, I like this shoe.
Okay. I appreciate that.
No, I'm just the execution of it and the storytelling. You know, I didn't even see the tennis net on the tongue.
Right.
Those little details, and then just the quality of it just all fits together. The gum bottom with the green suede with the blue, bro. That's a well executed shoe, bro. Like seriously, bro. I'm a fan of that shoe for real.
So how can we get in the friends and family group? Well, I think the thing, like I said, I have a conversation back with LS that's going to take place this week, but you know, with the hopes that this moves into a bigger release. You know, their point of contention, if I can say point of contention, has always been, well, we don't really know you, but look, I've been around a long time. There are 11 reboots out now that came from OG models I have. A lot of brands I talk to, that's not arrogance, but you know, you don't want to put me on the marquee, and you're going to flop. You're going to continue to flop because your strategies that you're trying to enter into a U.S. market are missing. And that's just because you don't give an ear to listen sometime. And I think in this case, you know, I've talked to him. I said, okay, I'll show you that there's enough public, you know, demand for it that you could do the show. You know, I tell him, look, I'm a hustler from early years ago. You can put 100 pairs in my trunk today, and I'm going to sell 100 pairs of any shoe you got. I'll drive around the city and I can unload 100 pairs of sneakers. But, you know, what's to lose now? That was my big point to them. Like, what do you have to lose? So, you know, and that's why I say with cats like Fila Fresh and other cats on here, that really ignites me to the brand now. I see them as more authentic carriers of the brand than I would some celebrity who I know has a tight t-shirt you just gave them and putting that on for that day. That doesn't really, you know, that doesn't come across to me as anything authentic or anything of interest. But when I watch some of the others, I have an interest in that. I say, okay, well, if they rep that or they like that, just like with my man, that's my man who does the Ewan thing, right?
Throwback King.
Like him. I mean, that in the 33s, that ignites me most times because I'm not a huge Ewan fan. I like the 33s, but some of the stuff when I get to see him, like the Jones he had or he did the gang, he did the Ewan squad thing, and I thought, man, now that's tight. So, you know, I really just stress to them, it's no longer, you know, who I am, it's who you're not. This ain't the 80s. This is not the 80s. So if you want your stuff to be on clearance and foot action and those DTLR, keep putting 80 stuff in there for kids who their parents wasn't even talking to each other in the 80s. Dad didn't make a move to the 90s and got with their mom, and you're going to keep putting that in there? What do they care?
Did you like those pictures I sent you from Burlington?
Right.
Them things up in there for $20, man.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, come on, man. Just there's still a market space for that. There's still a marketplace for that. You know, a lot of disposable income old guys still have. I'm gonna buy your stuff. If it's quality, I'm gonna wear it. If it's quality, I'm gonna wear it. You know, I'm past the age of influenced, or I don't want to be an influencer. If it's quality and it's good, I'll wear it. But sometimes, due to my timeline, I see things that, you know, I would give a nod to, like, oh, okay, he has it on. Like I saw with the Converse today. Ooh, the Hop had the Converse, right?
That was Black.
Black had the Converse. I was like, wow, okay. You know, that ignited me more to take a look at that, where normally I wasn't. But when Ernie was with the Adidas, Ernie Pump, I was interested. Once he had I said, okay, well, I'm interested if they're interested in hearing what he has to say, because I know it's done right.
Well, you know, that's the thing. You know, that's the thing with these companies now. They don't, like you said before, they don't sit here and listen to people like us that have passion for each brand. It's like they'll dish out so much money to these A-list celebrities or B-list celebrities, where they can use their name to get their product out there. But when you put the product out there, I mean, case in point, a UN 33 High and a 2 Chainz, he did 2 collaborations with them. One was good, the other one was trash. The one he did with Rick Ross was straight trash. The materials on that shoe, I mean, I love the 33 High, but it's just certain ones that I get.
Right. I don't
go for, like, just because this man got his name on it.
Yeah. They went. We talked about that. They went collabo overdose. They've OD'd on collaborations that I can't even make sense of. It's for the culture. I don't know. I can't make sense of any of their collaborations. But to that point, yeah, it's too much.
On that shoe, what made you go with Suede?
My man had a lot to play in that Will when I talked to Will. But again, we were trying to recreate, just like Hal pointed out, the early courts. They were grass courts, and they weren't the best kept courts. So the longer suede hair made sense because those courts weren't the best kept. They were in public neighborhoods, public areas where basketball was still king. Right. Even though we liked tennis, we were still a small segment. It wasn't like a whole band of brothers trying to play tennis out there. We're very few, but you know, because then sports viewing was different, right? You didn't have ESPN. You didn't have a lot of these 24/7 streaming brought into your house. So when you got to watch sports, you would watch the sport and maybe gain an interest that you wouldn't before. So when Wide World of Sports came on Saturday or something, you'd watch it. And so when I got to watch the tennis, it wasn't so much the match play, but I was like watching the dudes come up in their full apparel, like Borg, Vilas. I was like, oh, that's tight. Yannick Noah with the Lecoq Sportive. The freshness. I was like, oh, that's tight. The whole outfit. Yeah. So that's why even to this day, I'm like a grown man wearing Geronimo. I just keep matching. I got to match the top to the shoes to the socks because that's how they were doing it. I'm not on the court, but, you know, I just try to do that whole match thing. But I think that was the first
like that too, bro. I'm still old school like that too, bro.
Right. And that's what the brands miss now, because they keep trying to come to, the streets. The streets came later. The crossover happened because the target market crossed over to what you were doing. You were making those sweatsuits for Borg, Vilas, Becker. You weren't making them for Rich Porter, Ray Fadman, Ice-T, or any other rappers. So now you can't find a way back because that wasn't the target market anyway. The streets weren't there anyway in terms of that. Now you're trying to come back to streets where everybody's virtual. It's a virtual world. So when I see that, the streets, what streets are waiting on you? I live in a community, I don't even see kids outside. So what streets would you be trying to go back and target? It's like, come on, it really makes no sense.
Once again, like you said, it's not the 80s, it's not the 90s where we stayed outside.
Right.
Everything's over with.
It's so funny, but you have a lot of these are license holders now. They've been brought out. So a lot of that heritage history is not there. And a lot of them are trying to do the same fit for, each thing they have, and they don't want to listen. It's like they've, again, like I said, they'll listen to me to a point, but then my name's not on the marquee. And it's kind of like, you won't put my name there, but you want help in every aspect and part of your business. Like, come on now. But so this time around, it got me to a point where I was really like, come on, I'm not going to keep trying to convince you of who I am.
Right.
It's no need for that.
So
right.
when you at the boardroom with you and your partner and the other people, shout out to Sneaker Queen, man. I follow her.
Right. Real tight,
dope,
man.
bro. She is dope.
Kiss Cash, you know Kiss Cash? Do you follow Kiss Cash?
I follow him.
Good people too. King of Trainers was there. Woody from Sneaker Freaker Magazine. Shout out because the Haas Fair I just did over the past weekend. I did a Sneaker Freaker piece, so that'll be coming out, I guess, in their magazine.
Okay.
Maybe how they run it this month, but I did a piece for those guys that's LS history and stuff that'll be out.
But my question was going to be, how much input, like, was it from 100, just rated from 1 to 100% that you had on that sneaker?
In terms of our design council, we had 100%. Like every design, these design council ones, we absolutely had 100%. You know, and my only, like I said, in talking with him, the first thing and the only thing I needed to know, if I give you the vision, are you going to make it a premium quality product? If not, I don't need a shoe. I can wait for an ID somewhere, Nike ID or something, and make my own Cali Vegas something. So, you know, that was my only concern. Like, are you going to make it? Are you going to make it, you know, premium? You know, and they said they would, and they kept true to their word. So, you know, shout out to those guys for that. But, you know, again, I told them even at that time, I tried to just insist on them, do a city series with this, continue this. You got a cat in London. You got 2 cats in London. Mm-hmm. You got Julia in Berlin. Mm-hmm. So you got a cat here. You got a cat in Australia. Why wouldn't you just do a limited release of 100 or so pairs of each of these styles and see?
So, you know, with the other people around the world or the globe, do they have their own design, or everybody has that design right there?
No, everybody has the tanker, but some are different. Like if you go look, like some are showing theirs now, like Franklin King of Trainer, his is a little different. He has maybe the same, but some have, like Woody has a fire pair for Sneaker Freaker Magazine because he kept this, but he changed the colorway. He's got the W back there. His is fire. Sneaker Queen is another nice one I got to see. So some are showing theirs now, and they changed, but you could have went any route on that. You know, They allowed you. So that's why I said, again, it was pretty cool because they really did. It was limited only to your imagination. They really was saying anything you want to do, you can do it. But I wanted to tell a story because I thought it's the one area, like a lot of times when you look at this holistically, people think, oh, well, you know, hip hop started that and drug dealers started no, it was around already. It was 82. This is an 82 shoe. When you think of Borg, 84. When you think of Becker's, 84, 85. These styles were already before Raekwon or any of them got in any of these styles. So it's always laughable to me, and shout out to Wu. And I'm not being disrespectful, but when you see these cats and say, oh, he's bringing back this Theodore. Is he? He's a baby when that was out. You know, but shout out because I know you probably lurked the page of my own or somebody else's and you saw that. And now you're bringing that shoe back out and you're trying to tag a name and force feed it to a market that really is not going to have the same affinity for that shoe. Yeah. So that's just, you know, Fila, they get paid on a big clunky shoe. You know what I'm saying? That big shoe, that's their pay. Right. They get paid on that. So the heritage, they could care less one way or the other. And that's unfortunate.
Because they're going to get their money regardless.
Right, because they're going to get their money that way. And that's unfortunate because they have a heritage vault. LS has a heritage vault. Sergio, Tacchini. Vaults that are just, they haven't even been tapped yet of the potential. But they may not be. Because a lot of times they're so disconnected to the community and the fan base, they don't know. You know, look at the strength. Polo's strength was to go back and look at what the community was doing. Social media, they went and looked and saw low movements. What is these cats doing? All right, this is what we're going to bring back. 92, 93, because that's what them cats was wearing anyway.
Exactly.
So, you know, for these other brands, they don't give thought to that. Like, you know, I would bring in the Fila Fret. Those dudes would be like, hey, okay, what did you like? He and I talk when Fila brought out the Mountain Tech gear. Man, they brought it, Urban Outfitters. Come on, man. These golf looking frail. This is our tech gear. I'll punch you in the face and break your whole back and backpack. You're not tough. It's like, come on, how's that tech gear? But I understand it's a new era because for us, back then the performance was important. Like when we put on them the tech gear and stuff, we were in the elements, bro. We was outside all day. Some of us were doing good things outside, others were doing other things, but we needed protection from elements. So when I see the tech gear now and it's paper thin and like and the models have pencil legs and look at us, we're tech, we're on a mountain. Man, I'll take all your money. It's like, come on, man.
It's lifestyle now. It's a lifestyle now.
Right. It's a lifestyle.
Functionality. It's not functionality.
Right. It's not a functionality anymore. And that's You know what? Yeah. There it is.
That's the problem with a lot of things. With a lot of brands, it's not the same function that it used to be. It's mainly for looks.
You're right. Aesthetics. That's it. But even aesthetics are off, right? But if you can get enough people built in the hype, just like Nike, and if people think, oh, well, you don't like Nike. No, I just hold the OG pairs to what you slobbering over. I have the OG pairs. So if I say that shoe, I'm not, making a disparaging remark to whomever brought the product out. Thank you. But I'm not going to be super grateful for a BS product because you brought it back. You brought it back. It's bullshit. I don't want it. I'll keep my originals. So anytime, even when I lend models to these brands, or they pay me for my press is to get that back. Even when they say, oh, how many retro pairs? Give me back my OG because I'm going to wear it. I wear my shoes. I don't care about the 40 remakes you made of it. Give me back my OG pair. That's what I want because I'm going to wear my OG pair.
It's not going to stand up to the OG pair anyway.
Right. Like this. This is 82. Right? I wore these the other day. This is 1982. This is
still look good.
Serviceable.
Those look dead stock, bro.
Right.
Hey, man, you ain't got to put the tag on that, man. You ain't had to.
I did it only for this. I loved it. I put it on for this with the salad tag. It stays in the box, but I put it on only because it was my small flex for being on the show.
I was gonna say, you better be careful. Black or just say, man, just send me the tag. You keep send me the tag.
Yeah, to Haas Flair's point, even with Kappa and those brands who are just trying to, like even the Champion now, when they came with the huge, the thin quality, but the huge logo. Look at us. We're hip now. That's not going to last long. There's nothing built around that. Foundationally, nothing's going to hold that. People are going to move to the next thing, hype thing, then move to the next hype thing. But your community's been here forever. Cats like Feel Out Fresh. We've been wearing this stuff for 30 years. Even without IG, we would still be in this stuff. You would have still wore them selections you wore today. You would have still wore them without the advent of social media. We would have had that on. We would have still been supportive of that.
Facts. Speeding facts.
Yeah, that's the point dismissed. They keep going for the next hot thing. That only lasts a minute. Your community lasts forever. Just like I was talking with a brand, I'll leave them nameless, but I told them yesterday, I had this with their top people. I said, listen, when who you consider a regular person buys your shoe, shout them out. Put that on IG. Shout them out. Because that was a purchase. That wasn't a giveaway.
That's one thing I hate. That's the one thing I hate. You get people, like you said, regular everyday people that support your brand. You can't shout them out. But as soon as a A-list comes through, I got these on right here. You want to shout them out just to get the likes. I mean, I don't understand
9 times out of 10, that A-list person, they didn't gave them their pairs.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I said.
They didn't gave them their pairs. And then like the real collectors, it's just like, now everything is about resale,
right?
And things of that nature. And the real people, we can't get it unless somebody gives it to us. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. Lotteries for sneakers.
But the smaller people like us, they not looking out for people like that. Even though we shout them out on IG, we tag them on IG,
right?
And things of that nature. I mean, but.
No, but what can you do? Kelly made a point. He made a point earlier when he's saying it doesn't. They used to look at your following count. So if you got 10 plus, 20 plus, 30 plus, okay, we can look at this guy because he got a huge following. Right. So let's take advantage of that. But when it comes to I'm gonna say me, I got roughly over 1,200. You know what I'm saying? I'm a small fry in this big ass a fish fry grease. They're not gonna look at me, even though I got the passion for all the brands that I love. But they're not going to look at me. They'll look at the person that has that. 10, 20,
they're going with analytics versus going with common sense. They don't go with common sense. Even like I talked to you guys last time. This is my second podcast, and both podcasts have been here. Why? There are people with huge followings who ask, if you're goofy, I don't want to be on your show. That's not an arrogant. I'm not being arrogant, but if you're goofy or you're just here because you just came here and now you're some authentic or you with the culture and you've been, I'm not bothering. I'm not going to take any time out of my day to speak to you. I talk to you cats because, again, if IG wasn't here, you'd still be you cats. You'd be who you are. And that's authentic dudes who love culture and love these fashion, love the styles. But they put together these podcasts and these shows with dudes who just are flat out goofy. But, people will come. I don't want to talk shoes or anything with you. I don't care who you are, how popular you are. If you're not authentic, I don't want to talk to you. But, in the case where we've talked, even behind the scene, we've talked about shoes in length. And that's a lot of what's happening here. And, I tell the brands all the time, that your community is here. You just don't speak to them.
They don't see it. They don't see the community. That's the key word. Right. They don't see it. They see the. You can have, this is no disrespect to no A-list person, but you can have an A-list person come in their office. Hey, we want you to,
Let's disrespect them because they're goofy. This is all disrespect to all A-listers. You goofy.
Yeah, exactly.
Most of you weirdos goofy. You NBA cats with your lady dress tight pants. You goofy too. It's a bunch of goofy, and that's what the biggest knock is to this era, because this era was more official cats. Everybody wasn't drug dealing, or everybody didn't have to be a hard ass, but you had to be authentic in your style, and uniqueness mattered. You weren't trying to look like 50 other dudes in a circle of jerk offs. So now, we can be offensive to them. If you A-list, you're goofy to me. And I don't care what you're in, you're goofy. Your style is goofy. Mostly everything about you is goofy. And I'll never be influenced to be like, let me buy that shoe because this goofy dude was in the movie.
That's what I was getting at. Yeah. That's exactly what I was getting at. Because you'll have the younger person or the younger generation. I won't say that. No disrespect to no young people. But you'll have them come in and be like, oh, he's collaborating with this brand right here. I need to buy it because it's hyped up. But we take Cali Vegas, they got a dope ass shoe that with a company that nobody pretty much don't know about in the States. So which one would you go with, the hype, or would you go with the quality and the heritage? See that's one of those things that's like this. And for us and our crowd, it'll be towards your shoe. Because you put your heart and soul, you put quality, you put passion behind it. And that's the things that we love about just sneakers, period.
Right. That's all. That's always been that's what I've always liked, and again, I always enjoy. So, for me, I'm on social media, and I go through. Man, I probably spend 4 hours a day just going through looking at sneakers from people. If you follow me, I follow you. And I'm usually going to take a minute to comment, but because I just like a uniqueness to people and the style. I think tennis shoes, especially in this day and age, were always something that really was a statement to who you are in life. Even as a young kid, tennis shoes mattered to me. That's a style. The first thing I notice about you in life is your tennis shoes. If you're wearing tennis shoes, that's the first thing I take a look at. I don't make past judgments on you. Well, if you got on Skechers and you're a man, I'm probably going to look at you funny. But other than that, I really try to not to make. I really take a look at that and how sneakers transport and put you in different places of travel. So this culture now is consumerism. So that's the confusion. There was culture at one time, but there really wasn't sneaker culture. If I'm going to be honest, that was kind of a subculture. Culture was really being unique, and you had the music depending on where you were. DC was go-go, New York, other areas rap, and then from that subculture came what you wear. But that was all a part at one time of culture. But now it's consumerism. So now brands want to sell you back what they believe you think the culture should be. So these brands come and say, I'm going to sell you back, and this is your culture. It's really not. It's really not. And it's really just, it's tiring for me to kind of sit down and even talk with these brands, and they still act like they don't get it. But every year you flop. When I say, look, there are people in the community you could talk to. Like right now, they could do a small run. Let's see, Retro Talk. You could get a brand and say, I'm going to get these cats. We're going to sit down. We're going to do a shoe. We're going to do a small run. And that would run. I would buy a pair. I wouldn't even ask you to give me a pair. I would buy a pair just because I believe your authentic selves. So that would get my money versus somebody saying, "Oh, he was in this movie. Look what he got on." I don't give a shit what he wearing. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not gonna buy it because I don't connect that. But you know, and so at the end of the day, likes aren't consumer dollars. So even these people who have 40, 50,000 followers, when these brands put product in there and placement in there, it's not gonna do it. It's not a consumer dollar. You're gonna flop. If you're a Euro brand trying to come to the US without anybody authentic trying to bring you in to the US, prepare to flop. That's Champion, that's Kappa, that's Sergio, that's Fila. Prepare for the huge flop because that time, your time is past in sense of that. It's past. So you can't keep running the same idea out again and again and again. It's past. So, you know.
I got another question about your shoe.
Sure.
What was the time frame, or what was the time gap in between, you know, the first initial start of it to the finished product?
I think we went over in July, and I think we went over in July for the design council, and I think November may have been when the first shoes were kind of pressed up, and we got them probably maybe last month or into January, February. So it kind of, you know, they were kind of, you know, already running some of their other sneakers, but I think July is when we sat down and kind of, you know, went with the concept and gave our designs over to LS.
So is it a type? Let me see how I can say this. Is it to the point where so much money had to be spent on their side to make this shoe and make this shoe the right way to where once they come out to the masses, it pretty much garners their money back?
That's a good question, but you know, to be honest with you, that's what the whole conversation now relies around. I don't think initially there was a thought to how can we monetize, which blows my mind, to be honest. There wasn't a thought because I would have monetized this instantly, just because again, you had authentic people there. You didn't have to have A-list celebrities, but the people you had were authentic. And I think again, if I were to look, King of Trainer, man, dude had 600 comments when he showed. He didn't even show the shoe yet. So imagine that if I'm sitting back taking a look as a company where I was like, I didn't monetize. I got one dude who talked about, I'm going to show you a preview of my shoe.
Right.
Likes can be, anything can be likes. I went in and I read because I have that type of free time. I'm older and I have that free time. But I read, you had 600 comments. I told, and I spoke to, I said, listen, from them 600 comments, you can't tell me 200 pair of shoes wouldn't have went off your shelf. From those 600 comments, people taking time out to say, hey, we love the shoe, love you. 200 shoes would have left, not 600. But if 600 people commented, you can probably safely say 200 would have went.
Right.
So with me, I don't have 20,000 followers, but I can sell 100 out my trunk. If you run 100, I'll sell you 100 because I know a lot of times the people who follow me, I've had conversations with. I don't look at it as followers. Most of you guys, we've talked behind the scenes. I've talked to just about Fila 33. Find somebody who follows. I guarantee you I've had conversation with them in DMs or on the phone just because we talk.
Right.
And I'm like, you know, but they're like, well, maybe. There's no maybe to that. I'm not saying 1,000, but I'm saying if you small ran, you had 8 people, do 100 pairs apiece, do a city series in the cities they live in, make the cities get behind them. You got 800 shoes gone.
Yeah, you'll see.
Right now, yeah, you got 800 shoes gone.
But
versus what are you going to have now?
You make a good point because I remember when Throwback King came out with his UN Squad 33 collab with UN Brand. I can't remember
some of those too. Is he still around? I wanted some of those. I
don't know if he's still in here or not. But I remember he showed me the initial shoe, and I told him, I said, it's dope because he kept it classic. All he did was reverse the colors, and he kept it classic, and I love that. It's crisp, it's clean. You can wear it any season. But when it came down to, I can't remember how many he told me was in production. But I'm just gonna say maybe 200 in production, just guessing.
Right.
And those sold out. But to the fact now is like I asked him when the next collaboration gonna come out. He was like, they don't want to go that route again. They're gonna go a different route. And I'm like, well, damn, the shoes sold out. That's what you want,
that's
right?
the point. It seems it almost seems some of them want to say, you know, how many different ways can we lose? And I don't mean that to be disrespectful to brands, but sometimes you just have to scratch your head. It's like if you have a winning formula, why wouldn't you repeat set winning formula versus I'm just going to try something new? What's new? And Ewing has tried everything on the sun now. Patrick Ewing was my favorite player.
Mine too.
But now it's like they've collabed with everyone. Pickles, ice cream, everybody they've collabed with to where it's like it just makes no rational sense. It's like whoever like Paul's Puppy Pound, Ewing's. It's like, come on, man. It's you've done way too much. And that's
Care Bear Ewing.
Look, I'm gonna say this then. Now the Mikeys, the actual Mikeys, the qualities was actually good on that shoe, man.
Right. And look, I'm not being disrespectful, and hopefully nobody takes this as that. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just trying to say when you've done so much, man, it's like it's not even the one thing. And I love rap, right? I'm a huge rap fan. Rap used to be in a sense where I can remember when the Jungle Brothers, that was one of my favorite groups, Straight Out the Jungle.
Right.
They had a feature on there. Q-Tip, the promo. It's the first time you heard Q-Tip. That was so rare, though. It was a feature. And Q-Tip, and I was like, wow, that's dope. Now, then rap got to, not where it is now, but then rap got to a point where everything was a feature. Where if you go look at Snoop Dogg's first album, I think he raps only one song by himself. Every song he's enlisted Lady of Rage, Corrupt, Daz, Malik. Every song, RBX, he doesn't carry anything by himself. Every song other than the first one is a featured artist with him. I think sneakers have gotten to this point where they've gone collaboration crazy and you don't need it. They're doing it and then they're adding up to the shoe. When they go over to Kith, put that little patch right here. It's the same shoe, but look, we collaborated. Did you?
Hey,
it's
that's
like
the exact
same shoe. Air Force Supreme black ones. If you're wearing them, you're goofy.
Exactly.
Just like you were goofy in the regular black Air Force, you're goofy in the Supreme ones too. I don't care about the red tag. You're just
we gotta start using that. You goofy.
Right. Or you're maintenance worker, or you're valet worker, or you work at a restaurant. If you have black Air Force Ones, I don't care about the red tag. You're goofy. Just like you would be if you had the black ones on regular. You're just goofy. There's no need to wear it.
Oh man, you got any questions, Hop?
No, man. I mean, yep. I'm just here, man. Just listening, bro.
I dominated the talk time, Hop.
No. Don't apologize, bro. Because
this is all about you, man.
Bro, like I said, man, that collab, bro. It's just looking at it, bro. It's fire, man. And
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it.
Like I said, I'm not a. I remember the brand back in the day. You know what I mean? I never wore a pair or anything like that, but I'm very intrigued by that green suede. And, with the gum bottom, bro. Like, you got me wanting to go check out the other pairs and see what they look like. You know what I mean?
The other ones are nice. So if you take a look, the ones I've seen so far, like I've only seen King of Trainers, Sneaker Freaker magazine. I think they have theirs posted. I haven't seen High Snobriety. I did get to see Julie's Sneaker Queen. And I haven't seen the others, but I mean, I think either way, I think some of them are nice because again, it's something different. It's reimagining the shoe versus, we're going to just like Fila takes the T1 and every year they may change the colorway, but it's the same shoe. They just do. This one I thought was a little different. So I just thought this one was very different. I'm showing that for the
Can you zoom in on the black? Yeah, because Beard, that's our sponsor right there, Callie.
Okay, all right.
That's Lift Heavy right there. So yeah.
Okay, all right. So I got who that is. But again, I mean they really put the premium in. They kept the Gumby sole, which we wanted. And again, Sadler, think about this sole. This is 82. So if you think about the years back then, Nike had the Kill Shot. I used to play tennis in, and Wilson had the Pro Staff. They had nothing that could rival the Tanker. The Tanker was something in terms of creation that was just a crazy shoe. But I really liked that my man put the tennis next there on the tongue.
I like
fantastic.
I like the slope of the shape. I like the shape.
Right. Aesthetically, they really hit the point. They hit the marks on this one. And again, the longer suede I liked, and the colorway is one that we thought was really lacking out there. You don't hardly see a lot of the green suede. So
yeah, and then looking at the like how you got the LS real big on the OG,
right.
I like that you went with the smaller version.
Right.
You know what I mean? I do like that, man. It's
that's
so the OG.
Compare the two. Yeah. So we really wanted to reimagine what that would look like. What would it look like if we got a chance to do them both?
He's a dude.
Put the difference, and I was happy with the finished product to that. It really was.
And then even when I was like, I didn't know if I was right when I said the green, kind of represents the grass of the court.
You had it. You had it.
That made me an even bigger fan right there, because I'm like, okay, you really put some thought in it. And I was looking at what we was talking about the influence and stuff, and this my boy Dre Thompson. He used to work for me back in the day. He's a young cat, but very intelligent dude. And he commented and said, profit connected to influence from status symbol takes away from the core quality of the branding message.
And that's right. I saw that. And he's right.
Yeah, he summed it up pretty much all right there, man. And he actually had a clothing brand that he did called Retro Future, and he said he stopped because of that right there. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't want to say exactly what it was, but I think he was looking for better quality products.
Right.
He wanted to put out a better quality product, and so I think he's kind of revamping his brand. On what he's doing.
Yeah. So shout out to Beard Jedi, like right there in terms of thank you for that, the midsole and the design with the blue eyelets and such. So yeah, I just think that to your point that you picked up on the green. You should be able to get your vision across to people. So you picked up on that without me even giving you that point, because I said it's a tennis shoe. And we wanted to keep it in the arena of what tennis meant to us growing up and how we viewed tennis. And so that's pretty spot on that you caught that to be the courts, because if you look now, most courts are blue.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Blue, and they're most artificial. Even around here, when I did the Sneaker Freaker magazine, we had to really go out. We couldn't really find a grass court. We had to find one green artificial one, but the others were blue when they do tournaments and stuff here, because that's years past. But I think I wanted to tie that into the story, because that's the part that everybody misses. Like when you think of Euro brands, everybody knows the 88 and how the rappers had it and how much it cost, but nobody. The gold on the heel is for the trophy, and that's, I guess if you can see, that's the DC. That's the DC logo there. It's kind of embroidered in, but the gold was, thinking of Wilmington, U.S. Open, any cups. We thought of champions, and we thought of the shoe to be a champion. The
actual LS logo itself, is that a half tennis ball?
It is. It's you know what? I got a tennis ball here with it too. It's half because it's skiing and tennis, right? So it's a combination of both. If you see, it's a skiing and tennis. It's kind of morphed into one, because that was their two biggest areas when they started. And most of the Euro brands, tennis and skiing, were really where they made their mark at. Fila as well, but LS, that's where they really came into prominence with the ski gear and the tennis gear. And I just wanted it to be known, because I think most people think, young African Americans, basketball, tennis was our thing too, and representation. Our parents wanted us to be the Arthur Ashe or to see Yannick Noah in 82, US Open 83 with the dreads.
Right.
It was crazy. It's not so much now, because everybody from Commercial Locks or everybody has dreads, but to see him as a young African American growing up, to see him winning out there, to see Arthur Ashe winning, becoming a grand champion in a sport where they wouldn't even let us on the best courts in the city. I was like, wow, that's amazing to see a cat standing alone. Team sports are one thing. I love basketball. I love football. But to see that brother, Arthur Ashe, rest in peace, and Yannick Noah, see those brothers win grand championships as solo players. I mean, I still get a thrill from that, man. But as a young boy, there was no greater feeling. I wanted to dress I had the whole Lecoq Sportive with the, the rainbow and the whole shoes, everything, man. I wanted to be that. I definitely wanted to be that. Arthur Ashe too, shout out. But look at those companies. I mean, Lecoq Sportive was a French company, so they gave the signature shoe Look how long it took off the ass to get a signature shoe from Adidas, Nike, any of those companies. Look
it
how
took
long.
a long time. It took a
Look
long
how long
time.
Serena Williams waited.
Yeah, exactly.
To get a signature shoe.
And
it's
Venus.
like, come on, man. Representation matters. And these companies need to, you know, really take a look at that and look at the versatility in the world. We're not all hoop fans. You know, I am, but I like the Knicks, so it's like I'm not. That's not really a basketball team.
Man, that's a different story. I don't even want to talk about the Knicks right now, man. I really don't.
Right, but I mean, some of us just, you know, we back then again, you were outside, so most times you just dabbled in any sport. You know, we took on any sport, but tennis was one that really endeared itself because, you know, the apparel and just the aesthetics, the shoes were something that we marveled at. As a young man, I wanted, you know, to have all the pairs.
So I'm sitting here looking at King of Trainers, his collaboration. And I want to see if people can see that. Let's see. That's his collaboration right there.
Right. He's got the two-tone.
His is called Decade. Exactly.
Right. And his was pretty, if you go, when you have time, trust me, go watch the video. And his mom is in the video, which is pretty cool.
I've seen that one.
Right.
I've seen that one.
And she talks about how in '85, when Becker won, and shout out to Boris Becker, she would buy him all these trainers, 1985. So one of his shoes is 85. And then in 1995, Becker lost.
Yeah, exactly.
And she was so disappointed in that loss. So, but it's such an endearing story, man. I would buy a pair just on his story. On his story.
Do you have extra laces that come with that, or is it just the green laces?
I just have the green with these, but of course, if we try to get it for a more general release, we'll try to, you know, look at doing different colorways too, but different laces as well. So
because I'm just looking at that shoe with gold, the gold laces go right.
I thought gold would probably be not a bad look here. You know, I like the green on green, but maybe gold makes sense. You know, in terms of that.
It just depends on the shade,
tips, right?
It's just depending on the shade of gold. Shade of gold,
yeah. You know what? Yeah, gold could work here, and it may be something to look at. But you know, the big thing now is just to get them looking at this as a viable release, which I think will happen. You know, and certainly I'm appreciative of all who show support today on the timeline and all who continue, because at the end of the day, you know, it's sneakers on the one hand, which seems funny because they're just something I see as wearable items, right? Not tradable commodities. To me, they've just always been something to wear. They're an extension of you, kind of who you are. But, you know, there's a whole world now that social media has opened up. And I think it's pretty amazing to get to go to London, to meet cats from London, to meet cats from Australia, all around sneakers. Yeah.
So when was the first time you actually got in contact with LS?
They sent me a direct message, I believe, on maybe it might have been 2 years ago. Because again, when they called and the guy was like, I'm gonna give you a call, and like when I finally talked to him again, we talked maybe 5 minutes in, and I was like, well, I don't know your company, you know, and he was like, you wearing the stuff? Because I was saying Elise forever. I was like Elise. Even the first time, I think when I went over to London to speak, I kept saying Elise. I couldn't in my head get it to this LS until I just wrote down on a piece of paper in front of me, L.S. and kept looking at the paper as I spoke. So I would say LS. So I think maybe 2 years ago, I talked to them about, maybe I had a posting of an old shoe. You know, well, Packer, I know when Mike Packer did the retro, I think his might be Vincenetta, but it was the Vincenza. Like I put to loan, I loaned him the OG, and he did that remix to that. And then I think after that, LS may have contacted me a little after, whenever that came out. I think that came out 2017, so it might have been 3 years ago. Okay.
So the name Victonian?
Right. Victonian. So that's kind of a mix.
Okay.
That's a good question. That's a good one to ask. But he and I are both from that area. It's now called DMV. There was one time where you wouldn't be caught dead as a DC resident combining Maryland and Virginia, but it's kind of all seen as one area. And I think he's from VA. So, you know, I thought Richtonian might have seemed too arrogant in nature, but we wanted something that harked to an Italian sound, a golden era sound, and the style. And if you get an opportunity, like I said, go to Victonian Athletics or his page sold on canvas, because when I tell you, man, the cat does drawing. You see the drawing behind me, right?
Yeah, I see it.
In all my arrogance, he did for me as well. But the cat is pretty amazing as an artist. Like, let me see if I can get that without that. So that's me on the Thanos chair. There's the trophy, Gucci, Gucci. That's you. I mean, get a load of me. But he did that just by hand, man. The guy is, when I tell you Will is amazing, Will is absolutely amazing. And Will has designs, man, that are just impeccable.
Oh, so he came up with that logo of the guy, right?
Right. In terms of that, yeah, that's his logo. He's got, man, when I tell you designs on deck, man, it's typically, there are a lot of designers out there, but he just had so many things that I hadn't saw before. They were golden era that, I can't wait to see. Like, we're creating now and getting stuff put together now so we can just start releasing. But he has some stuff that is, it's going to knock your socks. It's really, especially for the shoe itself, because we're doing custom pieces for the shoe. And so I think people are going to really be surprised and amazed, because what I think now has happened is this is getting to be a copycat industry in a sense. Mm-hmm. Like, it's hard to move anything forward, because unless you have a true vision or you're a designer of some sort. That's, if you ask me what the sneaker industry is missing, there are no true sneaker designers for the major brands. There's sneaker designers out here. So shout out to Pencil Academy, Chris Dixon. There are a lot of cats who are literally good at that. But, I think a lot of these companies go collaboration because that's a crutch. They can just say, oh, let's collaborate. But I always often ask them, okay, so you're taking the same shoe. You're not changing anything to the shoe. You're just putting their information on the shoe. And that's a collaboration in your eye. Changing the colorway. You've collaborated. You've talked about collaborating what? It's the same shoe.
I've said that too many times, where it seems like, they say that, oh, I designed this shoe. No, you just picked the colors on that shoe.
Right.
You didn't change anything.
Right.
On that shoe.
It's not a new silhouette of nothing.
It's the same shoe.
It's the same shoe.
And that's why
I would probably say, going to Jordan, probably the only person that they let alter something was Travis Scott. When it comes to the one, swoosh. The swoosh backwards. They let him, and that was kind of big, because you've never seen anybody put a swoosh backwards. And just like with the Sixes, where he took the little padding off and put the little pocket on there, and his little design on there. That's the closest thing but it's still the same silhouette. You really didn't change anything on the shoe. So that's the same thing that I've been saying that for years. I was like, you didn't really design that. You did a Nike ID. You did a Jordan ID for the most part. So.
Yeah, and that's why I always ask companies, why don't you just do the ID setup? It's kind of the same thing. Like, what's different? It's the ID setup. But I don't know. They like I said, they get one size fits all, and they try to do it until the wheels run off of that. But I think designers are probably not being utilized. There are designers out there. The sneaker designers didn't die. They just stopped being hired. Who brands have this fixed formula of collab, versus
collab and retro.
Collab and retro, right? Yeah. To the point where you just ultimately you hurt your heritage in a sense. You just keep bringing back trash. It's like, come on, don't bring it back if you're not going to do a quality.
Exactly.
Back. Only Nike has pockets a lot of times to really support those losses. You can bring back garbage. A lot of the others, you're not going to get that many opportunities. Nike's going to get an opportunity because Nike is who Nike is. So if they do a bad one, they can fix that on the next one with a good retro. They can do a bad one. They can fix that. But a lot of these other brands, your impression is really your first one. Even though you've been around, when you try to come back into the U.S. marketplace, that's going to be a first impression for a lot of people. And if you come back with trash, it doesn't matter what you do next. They're gonna remember you as trash.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing with Nike, and I've even done it myself. Is that we complain about the shape of different shoes and the differences in the OG versus the retro, but we still buy it. You know what I mean? Well, I still buy it because this it's the closest thing I'm gonna get to what I really wanted. Because back in the day, when I had the OGs, I actually played ball in them and I tore them up. You know what I mean? I wasn't I didn't have the ability to buy 2 or 3 pairs of shoes and just hold one for 30 years. And I actually hooped in. I played outside in it, and you know, just straight dogged them out. You know, until
that was your everything shoe right there.
Everyday shoe. Hey, if I had those black and red Jordans, I had a green shirt on it. Guess what? I gotta wear that green shirt.
Throwback King is right too with the Air Darwins, the GTC Reels as well. The Rodmans, they did put the swoosh backwards.
Yeah, they did.
So shout out to that. You're right. And to Haas Flair, Sergio, the Pat Cash shoes. I think they're actually on deck to do those. They have the Young Line shoe that comes out. That it's out now. That Young Line. That's another thing in terms of how you market that surprises me. The Young Line shoe that's out now is a masterful shoe. They took it from my OG model and they went through painstaking hand stitching to get it right. And then it's not advertised properly. I don't know what they're doing, but that shoe, if you go to Sergio Ciccini and the website, the Young Line shoe is, I'm in the trifold. They even mentioned me. I'm like, come on, you got to sell more shoes than this. You got to promote it, but it's an incredible shoe.
You don't have that shoe handy, do you?
I don't. They still have my OG.
And, really?
Yeah.
Man, they gotta get your shoe back, man.
Oh, believe me. I'll go see them.
Let me say this to Throwback Kings real quick. I don't think Rodman designed that shoe though. They probably had a designer designing that shoe, and they was like, well, Rodman is so wild that
he would have made heels. He would have designed high heels. Some shit.
They were saying Rodman is so unorthodox in what he does that let's put this swoosh on here backwards for him. Whereas Travis Scott probably actually went in there and said, I want to put this swoosh on here backwards. So I don't really believe Rodman had a hand in designing that shoe. You know what I'm saying? That's just my take on it. You know what I mean? I think they probably just had a designer for him and said, well, we put this on here backwards because that's how you're not worried about scoring. You're worried about a lot of the cats back in the day. They was more worried about scoring.
You're right.
Things of that nature. So I might be wrong. So
to Haas Fair, the Pat Cash is next. I know that. I spoke yesterday to the group over there. So Pat Cash is next up after the Young Line runs. So that they will retro that one. Now, which one they do, I don't know. I told them to do the Pat Cash 2, I thought was the better model. They may do the first, but I think the 2 is a better aesthetic model. Or the grand Class A one. But I don't know which one they'll do, but it will be a Pat Cash model.
I got a question. In your opinion, Khaled.
Okay.
And we can probably, table it around. And for the people in the chat too. To you, in your opinion.
Yes.
Regardless of the brand, what to you is the best collaborated shoe that you just quality, craftsmanship, story, theme, everything? Hey, well, that's quick right there, then.
You know what? That's a good question. That's a very good question. What collabs have I liked? I can't say I'm big on collaboration. Shoot, you know what? I'll just say overall as a whole, I'll say Packer, from the Maverick to the LS to the Pizzazz to the Vincenza, because again, I think he doesn't try. He keeps it in an OG format. He keeps the shoe very close to the original without trying to overwhelm us and be like, this shoe is now about me. I think, and because I'm an OG purist, I'll say that. But so I'm going to say that because I count that as a collaboration. But I think the best retro, if I can tell you that, the rivalries.
Oh, yeah.
I think in the last 10 years, for me, the rivalry is the best retro. But I think the Packer, the Maverick, and the Pizzazz are the best collabs.
Yeah, that's what I think. And for me, it's like...
And the Packer Felon, yeah.
These right here, like I said, best retro to OG, in my opinion, ever. All brands. I'm sorry. Until I get something else in my hand, this here is the king to me.
Right.
So hold on. That's better than the Air Pressure.
Yes.
That's saying a lot for you.
Yes. I'm putting it on record. Yes, it's better than Air Pressure. Okay. I mean, because This here covers everything my old feet needs. Comfort for one thing, you know what I mean? Because like I said, it has like some type of ortholite insole, and man, you put your feet in these shoes, bro. It's like almost walking on Air Max, and this is not me exaggerating.
You know what? And I just looked over and I saw the box. So look, I'm not to cut you off, but the top 10, the Ty Hopkins, that cat, the top 10 he did. So to that, I forget sometimes. So apologies. The UN too. I didn't get a pair of the UN squad, but it looks like a top one. But I didn't get a pair. But the Ty Hopkins top 10. So I'll turn it over to Hop now. I'm sorry, I didn't want to leave him out because I think he too comes very close to the original work.
Even though they messed him up on his last one.
Hey, they jerked him. They absolutely jerked him. But brands feel, they feel comfortable in doing that because, they feel people are going to patronize regardless. For me personally, if they don't set that right with him, I'm not really going to patronize anything they do because, I'm not from Detroit, but I'm certainly bothered by that. I think enough of lurking and taking people's work and taking people's passion and just keeping the money off of self, man. Your budget, you could afford to, even in the case, not just Ty, but others, like the catch stuff you do, companies just wait around, man, and say, I'm going to bring this back instead of just bringing that person on. Your budget can accommodate them more than it can accommodate these A1 or K-pop stars or whoever you're doing. You could bring real cats on, and then they'll be able to bring it back to the real community. Because, again, if there's a retro talk, Adidas, retro talk, Theodore, whatever the case may be, I'm going to purchase as a consumer because representation is important. I'm not going to be like, hey, give me a pair. I'm going to make a purchase. Because this cats I like, it's authentic. I'll make that purchase versus saying, even now when people do something like with Ernie's thing, I could have easily reached out and said, hey, I made purchases. If you're doing the work and that's representation, I'm going to be a consumer. I'm not going to sit back and say, give me free pairs. No. Because I want people to do that. So even people who have companies, I try to balance my spend. Like Frank Allen and Boom City and when T-shirts or something. Sure, you could give me one, but I'm going to pay for one too. Exactly. And I want that diversity to be around. I don't just say, hey, give it to me. I'm going to put it on, and somehow, through that, we're even. No, let me be a consumer too. Let me be a consumer too.
Let me support you.
Let me support you, right? And I told LS, even with this, put a QVC code. If you believe so much in your influences, put a QVC code. Let's see. You can do this one, and you can just put a QVC code. But if you're telling me I can't push 100 shoes, I'm telling you, you're crazy. And that's not arrogance. It's just that I know a lot of people. By now, I know a ton of people, so I should be able to do. I can just sell 100 shoes by going downtown because I used to sell things. But
things. Hey, how the inside of that shoe look?
It's basic. That's the one area. If I think I had it over to do again, maybe because some of them have some really good insoles. But again, neither of us were really thinking insoles. I really thought after the fact, in hindsight, that I would be like, okay, now there were people who passed away. It would have been nice to get it, my brother and others, and say that. So, when I said put me on the list, I did mean to purchase your design. OG. No, I didn't I wasn't saying that directed to anybody. I would think all would be, but consumers. But I would say, even if my man there, that's a cat I often respect on here. I'm not even big into Jordans, but I like because I see him. Here's the Merlin. I always talk about those. I'll talk about them again. The Merlin custom Jones, that's the best I've seen. And a custom pair of J's. I'm not a huge fan, but I'm a fan of that. Just like if you talk Dallas Penn, Timberlands. I'm in Atlanta. It's 70 degrees today. I brought 2 Timberlands in the last 4 years only because I've seen that cat with it and said, you know what? Yeah. So representation matters more than anything. Authenticity is key now. I don't care about your 80,000 followers. I don't care about your albums. If I listen to you, your content has always been, you've been the same since day one, like you cats, I'd purchase that. I tell you the T-shirt, I want the shirt in the back. I rock that, the Retro Talk Forum. But, these are important places to be heard. Joe Buttons of the world, and all of them can have their platforms, but these are the most important. I want people to come and listen here because the passion's been here. Look behind you. Look behind you. Well staged, but look behind you. That's important because that's who you've always been.
Right.
I appreciate it, man. Shoes. Look at Black Ass over there, but look up there, the threes and the air salts, and look over there with his lineup. That's who you've been. That's important. It, so I'm always going to be supportive of that, man. Trust me. I hope that stays around and grows bigger because it should be. It should be bigger for you. Versus, we got these 4 goofy motherfuckers together. Look at them. They gonna talk. These 4-ass goofy dudes should talk about something. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't care who they get a celebrity get. I don't want to hear that. I want to just hear people who had the passion and would still have it if this went away tomorrow. Them shoes gonna still be back there. You'll load up even more. Damn, you brought more shoes last week than half of the people in the chat. But he'd still be the same cats. And that to me is more important than anything, man. I would always balance my dollar to spend. So shout out again to the cats, man, to Throwback King here, to the Ty Hopkins, to all those dudes, man, who continue to have authenticity in this whole arena, man. And hopefully it opens doors for other cats to even get in because you should. It's our consumer dollar at the end of the day. Why not spend it on faces faces you like, versus always having to push somebody in front of me, man. I don't album sales and movies, and I don't care. Not in a bad way. I'm entertained by that, but I'm just not influenced to think, But if one of you two cats say, hey, this Air Force 3 retro, I'm going to say, you know what? Yeah, they know. I'm going to go with that versus I'm going to go with some celebrity saying these Air Force 3s are the best. I'm going to go with a cat with the Ewan squads because I know he's been around for that. That's his passion.
Yeah.
So I can go for that versus going for, hey, these big pun Ewan collab. Who?
Yeah.
Big pun.
Ain't wore Ewan in his life.
Ever. Or don't forget the Pimp C's.
Nah.
That was pretty Houston.
I was so confused by that one, man. I ain't gonna lie. I was confused about that one.
Ewan played a lot of places near the end of his career, but I just think it was Seattle, Orlando. I don't think he was down there, but
nah.
At the end of the day, man, I'm glad it's season 2 for you cats, man. As this gets near wrap up, but I hope you continue to be authentic selves, and I know you will through everything. And I hope others come in, not just one sponsor, but 50 sponsors, because this is what needs to be heard. Cats who would do it if everything went away. Everybody's not in for it like that. If this went away tomorrow, a lot of people going to start talking about it. You saw it already. Before, remember, there were a whole ton of influencers on timelines. They could get free shoes, and that was their huge thing. When that went away, now they on there, oh, well, I'm going to tell you this narrative. You ain't been telling stories. Now, story time for your ass, because they know now the authenticity matters, but their stories, listen to them. They don't make any sense, bro. You was in Vans or you was skateboarding. You was not into that. I can tell because it's not even on your page, right?
Right.
So now they want to be that. They want to be the cats. They're trying to jump in on narratives you guys have been talking about. We talked about history, what you like, and this shoe. Now I see dudes who I know, who have never taken that route, writing these long, elongated narrations like, oh, when I was a little boy, shut your dusty ass up. You was never into any of that. She was never into that. And said, test graphics. You're right. I will change the insoles if I get a chance to do that. And definitely shout out to him, man, and shout out to everybody who took time to even get in chats. I think that's a thing. Even as a listener, that's important too. How great is that? That people take time out to be like you. That's testament to you guys, man. So I hope
almost
this continues.
like customer relations, man. We listen to the people, what they like, what they want to hear, what they want to see. So that's what the brands need to do. It's like we're a brand and we're bringing them what they want to see and what they want to hear. So that fast forwards to these brands that need to listen to us.
I like the fact that you ain't got the coach. Georgetown's not the product they was. I think you ain't got jerked in the NBA. I mean, all that time as assistants, he should have got a chance to be a head coach. So I think he got jerked in my personal opinion. But I think Georgetown's, from a recruitment standpoint, they're not the product they was, and it's going to be hard to bring that back to, that story type event. Because as much as I love Georgetown, let's be honest, John Thompson could get rules bent. He can get an Iverson and them cats in there even for a year or two. Where now, rules are a lot different there. You're not going to get that same talent pool. So I feel for him in the sense that he spent all those years in the NBA as an assistant and didn't get a look, and he should have, because Lord knows they recycle guys in the NBA, coaches. So
the only thing with that is that, like, I don't think the kids of today know anything about Ewing. You know?
No, I think they do.
I don't think they do. You know, maybe. That's okay. We'll say, I know this is like crazy, but we'll say Michael Jordan coaching UNC as opposed to Patrick Ewing coaching Georgetown.
Oh, it'd be hysteria.
You see what I'm saying? Which way your child want to go? Well, I know Michael Jordan, but I don't know Patrick Ewing.
Now you may make a good point there. I mean, you're right, but that might be good. That might be a good point. I don't know. Jordan gonna break your kid down. Your kid,
yeah.
He's never gonna get Jordan. So I wouldn't send my kid there anyway. He's gonna destroy your kid, right? I'm still waiting for the Marcus Jordan 6-man J's that I know they're gonna make soon. Like, because they can sell any J product, so I'm sure they're gonna make some Marcus Jordan 6-man edition shoes, or 7th or 8th man, wherever he was in that rotation for the school he played.
Got a question from Beer Jedi. It's an interesting outsole choice. What made you choose that with a slightly more aggressive look as opposed to a smoothed out appearance?
Because I thought growing up, that's a good question. I thought coming up, we played on courts that were really not as kept. So I wanted the longer hair in terms of the suede to kind of be the representation. Like, there were public courts, and again, most of the private courts we weren't welcome on. You know, like Georgetown, those areas, you weren't really welcome to play there. We're now, we're in a different world. We can get on any courts, but, back then you couldn't. So I wanted to look with the longer, because I think sometimes the shorter hair looks like Fox, that Fox suede. It doesn't really give, like, I wanted the longer hair, to make sure that they were giving premium, that there was a premium suede they were offering. But I think that's why I kind of wanted the emphasis to be on a longer hair suede, because there's so many of the shoes now are just Fox in terms of the FAUX, the suede. It's not a real suede. So
I think he was talking about the sole of the shoe, the outsole look.
Oh, the outsole here? Oh, I'm sorry. We because that's really the Sadler's. That's his thing in terms, if you look at the OG model, that's what really, and his was like a techno rubber futuristic look. I really wanted to keep it in the way he had it. And that's why I said, again, this is 1982. So I kept that to the OG, because even then it was something that, I'm not even quite sure why he designed it in quite a way, but it was really the first cross-functional shoe.
Yeah, that's the OG sole, right?
Yeah, this is the OG sole. We could wear it for basketball, football. So I really wanted to keep that sole intact.
That's a real cross-trainer shoe then.
Yeah, it was really the first cross trainer, because before then I was playing in the Kill Shots, the Nike Kill Shots, in the Wilson Pro Staffs, and they had smooth bottoms. So this was the first one. When I saw it, the OG, I was like, man, what is this? What is this? This has been a great experience. Haas is my man, Australia. So he's a cat too. He's one cat, man, who I hope that they pick up and do more with, man. I love that cat, because he's in Australia. Think about that. And he's so passionate, man, about it. I watch if you ever get to watch his YouTubes, watch his YouTubes.
I've been watching.
Shout out to Beer Jedi. Thank you for that. And, and so Haas is one of the dudes that's just, he's a cool guy. And again, I appreciate that from Beer Jedi. Again, I just wanted the story to be told, because but I wanted, we wanted to just reimagine. We wanted to take a shoe and make the aesthetics modern, even though the story was a more historical base. I didn't want the shoe to look like 82, but, even though the story is 82, I wanted the shoe to look like 2022,
That's where the materials come in at.
That's where the materials. And once they promised that, man, I was like, run with it. Once they promised it. But LS, Throwback King, you're right. Think about it. I had to write it down. I swear to you. They had me I was doing a speaking engagement for them. So imagine that. And matter of fact, it's streamed on YouTube. You will even hear in the speaking engagement where twice I think I referenced them as Elise. Because it was so hard to get that in my mind that it's LS. Just initials. So
that box and packaging is dope. That's what caught my eye, because I'm thinking that the black box was actually the shoe box.
No, that's what I thought when I first saw the box. I was really like, "Come on, man! This is how you do a box. This is how you absolutely do a box, man." So
And
shout out to
it's a
them.
box inside of a box.
Right? They spare no expense, man. They even exceeded my expectations. You know, my expectations was, it's gonna be okay. But I was like, wow, everything that was on that paper, I mean, according to spec, everything that was told from the story and how we wanted it, they really put that together, you know, in a way that I think now that you can make a general release. And that's not just saying, hey, you could. Thank you for that, Papo Rivera. So I'm hoping that everybody gets to rock them. My hope is that they come back to the table. I'll send them this link in our conversation and that we have an opportunity for more, you know. But beyond that, trust me that we have apparel that would fit with this that you ain't even seen yet that will blow your mind. My man Will Soul on Canvas, he's got stuff, man, that, you know, I'm gonna pay to customize it myself just to get to wear stuff I want to wear because it's that dope. So I'm hoping we can even sit to the table and have that conversation with
So all this stuff gonna take you back to 1982?
No, it's gonna keep you here. That's the beauty in that. That's where I think the problem has been for a lot of brands. They're trying to relive and revive something that's dead. In reality, 1982, we're never going to come back to that time. You know, we all think our era was the best. That's just how we do. If you grew up in the 80s rap is the best, 80s styles. If you grew up in the 90s, Mobb Deep, you know, 90s rap is the best, 90s styles. People growing up now, Lil Nas X, I don't know. I don't know what's tight now, but we all kind of, you know, I think with golden era style, it can be applicable to any decade you're in. It's just authenticity, and it's just a certain style that kind of really has that classic quality and that era to it. I don't think, you know, 82 is dead. Trust me, I'm a professor by trade. I'm a lecturer, and I sit in roomfuls of 30 and 20-year-olds, and they don't care about, you know, Boris Becker to me is always a champion. These young people, that's not a big deal to them. You know, it's more Serena. It's more, you know, people of their era, and that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be.
One more question.
I got a question real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
Sure. Are you gonna have any apparel to come out with that shoe?
Well, we're gonna even do it, and that's really where the talks are now. I mean, if you know, the conversation when I go back to the table with them is to try to do that part of the deal. If not, we're gonna do it on our own. From the Bostonian Athletics, we're gonna do our own apparel anyway. It'll be a match for this shoe. But my hope in going back to them is to even, you know, colorways and different designs, because I think you can open that shoe up to a city series, you know, just as sure from Detroit to New York to, you know, Boston to London, wherever. I think things resonate abroad, and some things are different. Like, you know, I would love to see this shoe in the blue, you know, that kind of represents New York, Queens, Flushing, and other colorways we have in mind that we've kind of sketched out and talked about. So that's our goal in terms of that. For Beard Jetta, you know, I'm going to have more in terms of where these could possibly be purchased, but a lot takes place when I have conversations back with them on Wednesday. So no sooner I hear that, you know, the announcement of that will be with these guys here. You know, these are really my go-to cats that I'm always talking with. So I'm pretty sure, you know, I'd come back right here and do that, because it's non-goofy TV, so it's my absolute favorite. But watch. I mean, look, like Complex. Let me say this, and they can take all exception or offense they want. That's a bunch of goofball. That's just goofy.
Facts.
That's a whole goofy panel of dudes.
Facts.
Goofy panel dudes. For years, they just take information they've seen out there. Even their top list, from rappers to sneakers, is goofy. I was featured in one of their things, 20 sneaker collectors, but you're still goofy, all of you. And so I'd much rather have conversations here with dudes who know. Them dudes is all goofy.
Oh my goodness,
bro. We appreciate that, man. Like for real. And
yeah,
you know, as soon as you find out where we can purchase the shoes, let us know, because you've helped us out from day one, and I mean, we couldn't do no less than to support you, bro.
Okay, all right. So
anything you need from us, bro, let us know.
I like that. So let me add to GTC. That's a good question. I'm gonna just say that these are more lifestyle, like a lot of things in life. Like for me, I love them. I'm not gonna get on court with them just because I like them, So I don't. They're not performance based, but they're still of the OG model. So I played in these. So I guess in some ways I would still trust these to play, but at 53, I'm not gonna play a lot anyway. I might hit it and the ball's gonna go past me. When you lob it back, I'm not even returning it. But I'd be cautious of that more lifestyle shoe for OG sneakers. Yeah, Southeast DC, of course, come back. That's home for me. W Street, good old bro, that's home. So I would most like to come back and do that there in terms of that. Anacostia Park is where, I started to play as a youth. So that would be, the thing to do. But these, I think you could play in them because, again, they are of the OG model. They're the mold. It's taken from that. But, I mean, if you're really playing tennis, I like Pro Staffs. I've been that way. And that's a simple shoe. For everybody who knows, the Wilson Pro Staff is probably the most simplistic shoe, but it may be the best shoe in terms of a tennis shoe that you could play in. So that would be my preference.
Man, this has been once again. Like I said, man, me and Hop was talking, and we was like, man, you're pretty much, I ain't gonna say a guest. You're pretty much a family member of this podcast. And we appreciate you for coming on. We appreciate you coming on last season. It's like I love it. We ended the year with you, and we began the second season with you.
That's good. I love that.
And that's dope, man. And all the knowledge you dropped about just not Elise, but LS.
There we go.
LS, the brand.
There we are.
And just the fact that you're showing your shoes. The creation that you made, I call it a creation because it might have some, small details of the OGs, but it's your creation. Nobody else made that shoe but you and your partner.
Right. Shout out to him, Will.
Yeah. What is his name?
It's Will Cooper, but he's Soul on Canvas. Soul on Canvas is the IG tag, but that's my dude. So.
And the fact that y'all came together and collab, I want to see all of the people that participated. And I just saw King of Trainers. I want to see Sneaker Queen. And who's the other?
Kiss Cash.
Kiss Cash, okay.
And Sneaker Freaker Magazine, he has a tight one. Woody, that one, his is posted out there. If you look at Sneaker Freaker Mag, that one's out there. High Snobriety was one. There's another one that's out there with the V. I don't know the name, but I've seen theirs out there. So my assumption LS is going to put it all together and show it at one time, I would think, because they took all shots of all shoes. So my guess that they're going to put it all in a piece and show it. But some of the others are just as incredible too that I like. But the stories, so OG Sneaker, like he pointed, if you go get a chance to watch King of Trainers video, man, it's heartwarming video. I didn't know his backstory, but it's a beautiful story.
I'm gonna go back and look at it. Like I said, I looked at a few pictures while we was talking, and his shoe is dope too. I mean,
I like the two-tone color.
Yeah, just the two-tone. Yeah,
all right.
You can interchange his laces to kind of like, know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that is dope. But man, once again, anytime you want to come on, man, no problem. You are more than welcome. Matter of fact, I ain't even gonna say you're more than welcome. If you pull up in the chat and be like, put me on. You in there.
Well, you know what the funny thing is, and that's what I tell everybody. Most times I'm here. You don't see me, but most times I listen. If I'm not sitting, I try to listen into you guys because there's always interesting stuff. So even if you don't see me pop on and say, hey, trust that I'm listening, because again, I like hearing it, man. There's a true authenticity to what you do. It's not faked. It's not staged. You can tell by your collectiveness of the sneakers and where you talk. This is you guys. It's who you are. So, hats off to who you are. I can't stress that enough. So
we appreciate that, man. We really appreciate that, man. Anything else you had, Hop?
That's my man. I didn't. You know what? That's funny. I'm sorry. I'm still PR 1977. I didn't even realize. We're in a tag name world, so I don't even realize people when I hear names. Absolutely, that's my man. I know him. He knows about the Young Line because he got all three pairs. So shout out to him. Jason Hill. I'm not sure who that is, but shout out to him.
Yeah,
Eric Jones down there. So to all of them, man, to even take the time out, I think to D, it's just fantastic, man. So this is wonderful. I know we're over time. Last time I left and we weren't finished, so I got to make sure we're finished, and then I can leave. Last time that was the only thing that people knocked me on. They said, "Why'd you leave?" I thought we were finished. But this time I'm extending it to make sure we're finished. Then I'm going to exit because I've had to go to the bathroom for the last 37 minutes, but I'm just holding it. So I make sure I'm finished because people got on me last time saying, "Oh, you just got up and ran." I said, "I need to go to the bathroom."
he dropped the microphone.
Oh, my goodness. But man, we appreciate you for coming on, man. Yeah. We really do, man. Like I said, anytime, man, you're more than welcome. Hop in when you want to get a point across. You're more than welcome, man. We appreciate the words that you brought to this podcast towards me and Hop and our passion, and bringing all these people together with passion for these actual OG sneakers, shape, leathers, everything. But we appreciate everybody. We still got 17 in the chat. We appreciate everybody for coming through, chopping it up with us, listening to, just like I said, another dope classic a podcast without, I ain't gonna say guest because you're not a guest.
I'm like Jairobi, Tribe Called Quest. I'm that cat. I'm part of the tribe, but I'm just off to the side.
Yeah.
But you officially retro talk for him. Exactly. It's official.
Exactly.
Hey, and whenever you find out, you get more information on your collab.
I'm coming in first, man. This was again my unboxing was here, so
and I appreciate that too. I appreciate that too for you doing that with us. And whenever you get the announcement, or whatever you want to do, if you want to come on here and make the announcement, by all means, bro. By all means, you know what I mean. So, we definitely gonna support you, bro. No doubt about it.
Appreciate that, man.
Oh yeah, I've been hollering about that shoe since you told me about it.
Hey, I appreciate that. Now I'm going because I have to go to the bathroom. So
all right, man.
Am I good?
You good, man?
Hey,
shout
your stuff out real quick.
Yeah.
Again, to Soul on Canvas, follow us there, or Vitstonian Athletics. And again, you can follow me at Cali Vegas. So you can get us on all three platforms. The sneaker is the Vitstonian DC Tanker, which we hope to get to a bigger general release. And the news of that I'll get this week, and I'll share it with the guys here. So I appreciate everybody for coming in. All right?
All right, brother.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, fellas.
Yes, sir. You have a good one, man.
Peace, man.
All right. Oh, that was dope. Yes. Any last words, huh?
Just, man, appreciate the chat coming through. Appreciate y'all kicking it with us, man. All the questions, all the comments. Cali Vegas definitely, one of our top guests. I would go ahead and say he is the top guest, man.
He is the top guest.
All the knowledge and the support that he showed us, and we definitely gonna do the same. Support him. Want to shout out our sponsor, Beard Jet. I appreciate you coming through. Check him out, Lift Heavy Clothing. Give him, if you want to save some coins, use our Retro Talk code. But if not, just go in and just buy. Just go in and just buy.
Yes,
That's my guy
Red.
right there, Red.
Yes, Red. He has his own shoe. Yes, he does. If you go back,
playback, bro.
Yeah, you got to watch the playback, or you can go to any one of the tags that he said, and you can see the shoe. The shoe is dope, man. Quality wise, if you're looking for a quality craftsmanship shoe, that's the best one, hands down. All right, Haas Flair. Hey, we appreciate you for coming through, man. We know it's Labor Day for you, so I don't know if you're getting that grill out or what. I don't know exactly what y'all do over in Australia. But I hope you have a great time today. Be safe out there. And we appreciate you for coming through and kicking it with us for these last 2 hours.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Feeling Fresh 313 coming through, and Throwback Kings, man. Hopefully you guys, I know Throwback, we'll see you. I know you coming back through to chop it up with us, man. But Feeling Fresh, hope to see you again in the chat also, man. And everybody else who came through for the first time, man. If you like what we're doing, man, let us know. If you don't like what we're doing, man, leave us a comment. Let us know what we can do to improve. We always down to hear some constructive criticism. But appreciate you guys coming through, man. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much.
Cheers to you too, man.
Cheers. Yes,
cheers to you too, man. On IG, if you do like a sneaker pick or a post, please put use our hashtag Retro Talk Forum for a future feature on our page. So with that being said, and tag us too. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and tag us. We'll definitely give you a shout out, man.
And with that being said, I am Black Ass African.
Hop Dog 18.
That is Hop Dog 18. I'm gonna get it right one day. Watch. I'm gonna get it right. We on Retro Talk Forum, and we out of here.
Peace.